Today, we're going to cover the top 10 easy practices for SEO success. There's plenty of things that you can do to get higher search engine rankings, from page optimization on your website to keyword research to building backlinks and a bunch more. Even though search engine algorithms change often, like daily, there are some basic and easy to implement SEO methods that are proven to help you rise higher in the rankings and really continue to work regardless of the changes that Google, Bing, Yahoo are making to their algorithms every day. So we're going to go through the classic top 10 list of best practices for SEO success that really aren't going to cost you very much, if anything at all, and can really make a huge difference to your website. Number one, ensure your website's secure. Most people today are concerned with the privacy and security of websites they visit. So that's a crucial ranking factor for search engines. All things being equal, a secure website will always rank higher than one that isn't secure. So if you have a website, the first thing you should do is check on your web address and see if your website starts with an HTTPS : or whether it starts with an HTTP : What you want is for it to start with HTTPS. If it has HTTPS, that's got a secure socket layer or a security certificate attached to your website. And oftentimes, particularly on the browser, you'll see like a little lock icon show up next to the web address, or you'll see the web address turn green. If you don't have HTTPS, talk to your web host or web manager about what type of SSL certificate you need for your website, and then get it loaded up, because you're far behind the 8 ball if you don't have a SSL certificate. And there's some that are free, and there's others that are very inexpensive to be able to put onto your site. Number two, add your main keyword early into the content. Whenever you're writing anything on your website, whether it's a blog post or a main page, you should have a theme for that page and know what keywords are important to convey that theme. Including the keyword early and in context lets the search engine know what your content's about. Additionally, when you use the main keyword throughout the rest of the content, it reinforces its importance, but that keyword and the usage needs to make it readable. You can't just have car repair, car repair, car repair, car repair, car repair, car repair over and over and over again, because that makes it unreadable, and that will mark against you. So again, what Google's trying to do is identify websites that are going to provide the information that a user is going to want to read and will answer their questions so that they keep using Google to search. And so make your website readable. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. The content is for your potential customer, not just the search engine. And utilizing the main keyword early in your content will let search engines know that that term is important and helps you rank well for that particular term. So going into your content writing, you should do some research around what are the most searched keywords for that particular objective, and then make sure that that ties back to your content. Number three, use unique titles, descriptions, and content. When you do that, it lets search engines know that your content is original, and that original material that you're putting onto the internet is going to add to the body of knowledge and further the knowledge on that topic for anyone to use. And so it's going to identify that as something new and unique and rank it higher than if it's just a repeat of something else, because you're not adding anything new to the body of knowledge. And so make sure that you use unique titles, descriptions, and content. Copying content is going to do you little good. Number four, optimize your title tag for SEO. And your title tag is at the top of each of your web page. You may have an H1 and H2 heading tags, for instance, and include your main keyword in the title tag for your website, so in your H1 tag. And if possible, put it at the start of the title. That gives priority to the keyword and alerts the search engines that that's what the main topic of the following page is, or the main topic of the article is, and it will then look at it kind of through that lens to be able to serve it up for the search engine results. Number five, ensure that your website loads quickly. It's important that you make your website load as quickly as possible, especially now with everybody utilizing mobile phones. Loading time is a critically important ranking factor, and it's a critically important user experience factor. And search engines know that, and therefore look at page speed as a critical component of their website rankings. Couple things that to keep in mind, a couple little tips here. Compress your images and remove any unneeded code and scripts on your web page, and consider using a content delivery network, a CDN. If you use a CDN, your website will be able to serve images and other media from where servers are closest to the person on the website and cut down on the load time. And you might not think that loading something in Seattle from Miami is going to take a significant amount of time, but it does, particularly in the world of instantaneous web search. And so a CDN will say, okay, this user's in Seattle, I'm going to serve them the content from the servers closest to them in Seattle. This user's in Miami, I'm going to serve them the content from the servers closest to them in Miami. And that little bit adds a significant amount of improvement to the website's performance. Most web hosts use CDNs to deliver content, and just make sure that regardless of where your website is hosted, that those web hosts are optimizing your content by using CDNs and also compressing images. If you have a WordPress site, there's a lot of plugins that can help you speed up loading time for your website. If you go get our book, Crushing SEO, you'll see that we recommend a couple plugins there. The other thing that we run into, particularly in our business, is folks who, what we would say, hang a bunch of Christmas ornaments off the Christmas tree. So they've got a bunch of scripts running on their website for third-party plugins and third-party tools that might help with financing, might help with looking at vehicle history, might help with kind of tracking the consumer's journey. Every one of those slows load time. So you should strip down, and you've seen these sites where they've got pop-ups all over the place, and they've got this third-party thing and that third-party thing and widget. Strip that down to your bare essentials to improve your load time. Otherwise, it's just going to bog that site down, particularly when you're on mobile. Number 6, optimize any images. We just talked about compressing the images, and then you've got to optimize it. You can do that by giving file names to those images that are descriptive names, and then utilize image alt text to allow the search engines to know what that image is actually of. And the other thing that alt text does is it allows folks who are utilizing screen readers and other adaptability tools to identify what that particular image is. And it's going to also help with your ADA compliance, which is a critical component of any website anymore, and could open you up to a lot of liability if you don't have a ADA compliant website. So by optimizing those images with alt tags and descriptive file names, it's not only going to help you with SEO, it's also going to help you with ADA compliance. It kills two birds with one stone. As a matter of fact, just a little aside, FZA Digital does provide a ADA compliance tool, and what we found is by installing that ADA compliance tool on websites, we're also able to really improve the SEO of the website, because SEO and usability go hand in glove, and ADA compliance and SEO go hand in glove. And so putting all that together and doing those audits allows us to help our customers get better SEO just by following ADA guidelines on tagging and page structure and the like. So part of that is optimizing images by utilizing alt tags. Number 7, utilize internal linking. The key here is to link to your main pages. So any smaller pages can link to a larger authoritative piece, and that'll help you increase the rank of the more important page. So try to use the main keyword or variation of it in your internal links to ensure that most search engines know what the page is about. You might have, for instance, a scheduling page, and that's going to be really where your call to action is and where you're going to drive a potential customer to go. So you may have sub pages or blog pages about how to service your Subaru, how to service your Chevy, how to service your Toyota. Each one of those is going to have a link back to schedule your service with us, or get a quote for your body repair with us, and it's all going to link back to that scheduling page, which will have your generic, here's what we do and here's how to schedule with us. That will help make that scheduling page higher ranked for SEO, which will also, when someone's searching for trying to get scheduled for service, that'll rank that page higher on a regular Google search. Number 8, create amazing content. Write high quality content that fully answers questions your readers might have about the topic. If you can answer a question in less than 1,000 words, that's fine. But it's worth noting that it's important to be thorough with any answer. So you might want to write considerably more than that, and you might want to embed video. Many of the highest ranking pages on Google include longer authoritative content. And Google measures how long after someone searches and clicks through that user sits on that web page, because that's an indicator to them of how relevant that search was. And if someone searches for how to change spark plugs on a 2004 Malibu Classic, and you happen to have a blog page on how to change spark plugs on a 2.2 Ecotech, and bang, this, you go off there and you've got an embedded video and it's a little DIY thing, and someone goes there for 10 minutes, and Google's going to see that. And so the next time it gets served up, that someone searches for that, your website and potentially your social media for the linked YouTube video will get ranked as well. And that will continue to drive traffic, drive authoritative behavior. Someone, and you guys know this, folks will watch that video and go, yeah, forget it, I'm just going to schedule the service. And then you have the schedule call to action, pushes them back to the scheduling page, and you're good to go. So you can write longer authoritative content, embed video, but make sure that anything that you put on your web page is really good, amazing content, readable, answers the question, and is something that your consumer is going to want to read, not just the search engine. Number 9, build backlinks to your website. Despite everything that you've read, despite everything that you've heard, that backlinks aren't important, they are. But they have to be the right ones. So backlinks show search engines that your content's valuable enough for others to link to, but they also look at who's linking to them. So if you're getting linked to by a bunch of server farms and websites in overseas and stuff like that, Google's going to go, you've either bought the links or they're spammy links, and so we're going to downgrade your website. And that's what happened about 10 years ago. Most of us who were in this industry, who utilized the link farms, we got crushed pretty hard because the SEO game changed. However, if you have links that are backlinked to your website that are from relevant sites, it will improve your SEO. And I'll give an example. You might service off-road vehicles, or you might sell or service heavy trucks, and you get linked to from a website that caters to heavy truck drivers. And you've got someone that goes, hey, if you're passing through Wichita, Kansas, and you need a part or you've got a problem, contact Wichita Freightliner, and here's a link. That link is really valuable, because the content of that website and the content of that web page is relevant to what you were selling. If that was on a website that had a bunch of computer things and a bunch of stuffed animals and what have you, it's probably not going to be all that relevant. So if you have a relevant site, enthusiast site, club site, local directory site, that's going to be valuable to you. When you first start a website, slow roll the backlinks, because seeing a bunch of backlinks all of a sudden pop up is kind of a red flag, or at least an amber flag to Google that you're really trying to push backlinks, as opposed to you've got really good content and folks have organically started linking to it. And the last one, number 10, is look at the user experience. Can't stress enough, if you find that visitors are struggling to navigate your website and you have a high bounce rate, then you need to take a look at the experience you're providing those users and make sure you're answering their questions. Maybe your users aren't finding the answers they're looking for, or maybe your website's broken, maybe you've got some broken links, maybe your pages aren't laid out well. Regardless, if you've got a user experience that's not causing your visitor to engage and they bounce off quickly, that's going to be viewed negatively by the search engines, and you're going to end up getting penalized for it. So the user experience, the look, the feel, the content of your website, is it answering the questions, is one of the most important components for SEO. If you follow these top 10 SEO best practices, you're going to achieve higher rankings in the search engines, and you could do them all yourself. You don't need to pay anybody else to do them. The higher you rank, the more traffic you should have, the more you'll be able to achieve on your website, and ultimately the more sales you're going to be able to make. To get more tips like this, get our newest book, Crushing SEO, to learn how to make your SEO amazing. And if you need help with this or any other component of your digital marketing, please contact us at www.fcadigital.com or www.fzautomotive.com. Until next time.